Hello, welcome back. Part 29. Here we are, and this is going to be the fourth video, kind of covering the lower Thumaru Chalice Dungeon. Obviously, the Chalice Dungeon has been very difficult, because it's the final dungeon for the Thumaru area. Well, I shouldn't say that, to be honest, because I think there is one more to go. But we have encountered some very, very, very difficult things. This entire dungeon has been a true test of patience and definitely of your skill. But here we are, we're in the final phase of the operation. So we are prepping for the boss of the lower Thumaru Chalice Dungeon of Lair 4. In the last part, we ran around the entirety of the dungeon and everything. I think there's like a good 15-20 minute part where I was kind of like lost for a minute trying to find out where the second dude was, because you do get 2 summons for this fight, and I was just kind of baffled myself because I knew that there was a second dude, but I didn't clear it out. So Prospector Oleg here will kind of give us help in a way. Go ahead and deal with this guy. And then the summon's going to be in this room, so he's over there in that corner. Got these guys. Probably more of an unnecessary way to do that. Of course, me not thinking ahead that I had actually went back to the Hunter's Dream to turn in all those echoes. You really didn't want to take him just yet. You kind of wanted to clear this area by yourself so he didn't take any unnecessary damage, but we'll be fine. Let's come over here for Madman Waller. It's time to get out of here. Come on. Alright, so this boss fight, this is going to be the Aberrant Beast. First iteration of this type of boss that we are going to actually see, and only exclusive to the Chalice Dungeons. You will never see this thing in the main game, which I'm not sure if it was due to, time constraints or whatever the case might be, but it does not show up at all, unless they just really wanted it to be just the Chalice boss alone. It's another one of those giant beast-like enemies. This one, though, is a lot bigger, heavier, hits really friggin' hard. And having these guys around is going to make this fight a little bit more doable, because you're just going to come in for like some random slashes while these two pretty much do the workload for you. You can fight the beast by itself, but given how Bloodborne's designed with locking on and side dodging and all that kind of crap, it's really not an easy fight other than just kind of like doing the snow speeder method and just circling behind his back, waiting for the right opportunities and avoiding its like wide sweeping attacks. But this thing, it can just pop you in one shot and you'll not even know what happened. Much like the little giant dudes, Basic setup, though, is the fire, paper, Molotov cocktail. You want Molotovs just in case you're like running out of blood vials and you know that you can defeat it, but you have to pop from a distance and your gun's just not doing it. And then fire, paper for the obvious. You're just going to keep lighting your weapon on fire and keep on the pressure. Your serrated fire is always going to do the most extra damage, but for now we are stuck with fast slash pokes, and at least we have a fire. You just get in there, learn the boss pattern, you know, if you need to, every single iteration you die and you come back. Summon either of these guys or just go in there by yourself if you think you're using too much insight. But insight at this point in the game, you guys should be really good and set up. Like, we have, you know, 44 of these things basically. So yeah. Now we're just gonna go in and try to do this thing. Hopefully in one go. My rune setup though, I favored stamina percentage increase. They kind of you don't want to rush in. And you can see already pop like half of Oleg's health to 8%. That triple combo, I was honestly very lucky to get away from that second slash, because it's like a slash and then an uppercut. It's just deadly overall. Anytime you can get a headshot, do it. Wide swinging, you know, arcing shots are going to be the best way to handle this guy. Get caught in the corner, or you need to just let them aggro him, just do so. You just want to stay out of his range, really. Just keep poking at the legs. His hitboxes are terrible. Break at his limbs. There you go. That attack hurts. Just keep it going. Just keep applying the pressure as much as you can. So now the beast has gained super strength. It's probably better just to dodge away when you're doing the heavy slam. It's really just not easy to avoid at all. And I mean, you can tell right here, just with the legs alone, getting any kind of hit in is just a tough task right now. And then we have picked up the Defiled Chalice. So another chalice that is not... I want to say it's not required. Actually, I do believe it is required. Now, the only reason why I get confused with this stuff is because I have never really done the chalice dungeons in like the specific order. When I went for the trophy hunting, I did the way to glyph search or whatever, because the chalice dungeons were like the last thing that I had to do for the trophy, and it's to kill the final boss of basically what the entire chalice dungeons are made for. And never really did it the proper way, so I went ahead and did it that route because I found, you know, a video in order to kind of shortcut it. Because in the beginning, I was not really interested in these things at all. Kind of handicapped myself a little bit though, and I think from here on out, any chalices that we go to, I really don't know anything about them, so I'm gonna figure it out for like the first time. Like doing the entirety of the dungeon. Like some of them I might remember just because like when you do the glyph search, you have to go to that specific dungeon. And then the bosses that show up, you know, I've obviously had to beat them before in order to get the final little boss of this stuff. So like in terms of what chalices we need to go to and dive into, I'm probably gonna have to like search up like what's the proper route and figure it out from there. Because this is as far as I've ever gotten with them, like naturally. But that's the Aberrant Beast. You just want to stay healed up. Don't play with your HP too much because it does have some pretty powerful attacks that once it kind of takes those swings at you, I mean, it's just who knows how much HP is coming off of you and what's going to actually happen from there. But stick to its legs, kind of. You saw me not lock onto it. I think the wide rolling is a lot better to get away from it. Covers more distance instead of trying to sidestep underneath its little claws, which everything in Bloodborne has like this hit tracking system. So as soon as you like dodge, its AI is telling it to hit exactly where you land. So it's better just to kind of let it flail around, kind of do its heavy attack, and then just slash around, you know. The Beast Cleaver and the Saw Spear are, or the Saw Cleaver and the Saw Spear are probably the two best weapons for this fight because of like how fast, you know, you can kind of just slash around the entire room. And it has like these really nice little wide arcing things too, so you can just chop out the legs because it's a really wonky hitbox on that guy. But overall, not too bad. At least we hit him in one run. Then you want to exit this dungeon. He didn't really give us much in way of a bloodstone gem, which is really sad. Because honestly, his fight is not easy at all, so I think they kind of did us a disservice with that, to be honest with you. And that's like true for any video game. I mean, I don't know like the exact process of making them or something, but I do know like there has to be someone in charge of a certain section of the game, and you know, like, come on, the rewards for some of these bosses and some of these tough enemies that we fight are very lacking, and it's especially true in Bloodborne. Like, things that you think should give you a lot more than what they do offer is like a Bloodborne calling. But it's alright. We will just continue on, do what we gotta do. Nothing in the way of gems, like I said, to kind of make us better. You can play with it if you want to have the HP depletion for stronger attacks, kind of a niche scenario to do that. And honestly, that's only if you're farming, but things are pretty easy to kill in the farm routes anyway. And you know that you're going to keep popping Hunter's Bold marks and stuff like that just to keep running those sections through and through. And then, yeah. So now we're here with the Defiled. So you can see that this is the Thumru Chalice dungeons are all set right here. So we really, we're going to end up having to go to this one. Ritual Bloods, Bastard of Lorons, and Arcane Haze. Obviously, you know the deal with Arcane Haze at this point. If you watch the prior videos, we got the extractor from the lower Hintertomb. And it is absolutely required if you want to hit these, like, you know, other more difficult chalices. But the reason why we need to continue with the game is because other than this, we don't have a way of getting Bastards of Loran or any of this other shit without the Loran or Ys chalices. And you get these from the main game. So we are on our way to start doing some more of the optional stuff, which is what we are now in. Now, you're probably saying, what do we do with the other dungeons? Well, the regular Thumaru, the central, and all the stuff, so these lower chalice dungeons are going to have to be deleted. And then all you do is just you kind of walk up on them, you'll just say remove this chalice, and then you'll go ahead and just create the new one in its place. And that's how you just kind of cycle through them. Because you can run back the chalices over and over again, you just have to get the materials and then rebuild them, and then you'll have to fight all that shit all over again. But it's going to stay at the level that it was at beforehand. So, you know, these dudes right here, we go in there, we're probably going to just destroy with how much leveling we've gained up to this point. And then, like I said, nothing really new in the way of stuff, but we can buy tomb molds now. So that's a new little thing just for completing those dungeons. Weapons to speak of, and yes, no chalices to buy. We can check over here. It's probably going to be the same story. Nothing new. You do want to keep insight at 50 though, especially for the late game, because you have a chance at buying a stone shard or a slab or whatever they call it in this game, which is the upgrade mat that you need for a plus 10 weapon. And the game naturally only drops one in its main story, and it's kind of hard to find unless you really like know where you're going or you're really good at exploration. And then the other one, it's only through the insight pool, so you need 50 of your insight in order to buy one of them. But that's objective. I mean, we're going to still run into boss fights and stuff like that, so insight is still ever prevalent.
Very well then.
Okay, let's gather ourselves real quick and figure out where we actually do want to go here. Because like I said, there's a lot of optional things that we have not taken a part of yet. And we definitely want to start getting those a little bit knocked out at this point. So, let's see here. So we still have Canehurst Castle. We got the Upper Cathedral Ward, the Orphanage. We got the Nightmare Frontier. So yeah, we got quite a few things to kind of tackle still before we even reach where we need to towards the ending. It's all a matter of what I really want to, what would I need, but they're all kind of equal in what they give in a way. I think we will go ahead and take on the we'll say the Nightmare Frontier. That's where we're gonna head to next. Yeah, I think it's time to take on the Nightmare Frontier. So in a much earlier part, all we did was we went to the lecture building, the very first floor. If you don't remember how to get there, just trying to search up that video. Or you can just look up online how to get there, because it's been all over the place on the internet. Bloodborne's an old game at this point. Almost 10 years old, so, you know, do what you gotta do. For rune setup, stamina is good. Viscerals, not really required anymore. But we'll keep it on because there are a couple hunter fights in the Nightmare Frontier. But other than that, there's not a whole lot of things that get visceral other than like maybe the boss if you're able to hit its head. And like save for a few wolf enemies, but they're not really that hard to deal with, so we'll just keep it on because I don't really know of another better option right at this point. And then seeing that we are not really gaining that many runes to, or we need a lot of runes to level up now. You can kind of pick between any kind of damage reduction or, you know, choose the moon rune. We'll get a better version of these as time goes on, so you don't need to worry too much about that. But I would probably put the deep sea on, or the slow poison resistant runes, because we are going to start running into some really wonky enemies that are going to be doing that kind of stuff to us here pretty soon. I don't think the slow poison resistance is really worth it though, because the giant pool of poison that we're going to run into, you're going to get poisoned even with having like the white church set on and having this rune on all at the same time. So honestly, I would just opt for the frenzy resistance so you don't have to do this later. And then just keep whatever runes you want from here. Continue to use the hunter rune. Stamina recovery is still good, obviously. And then we will go ahead and transfer it over to the Nightmare Frontier. At this point, I would probably just suggest just staying in the white church outfit, because you're gonna switch back and forth between this thing a lot just for that poison resistance, and I find it less annoying to just kind of just stay in the one single uniform, because we are just overpowered at this point for these later stages. So we've done well enough to kind of set ourselves up for success when it comes to this. We'll go ahead and we'll head over to the Nightmare Frontier, cut the video, and then we will do another part so that it's not all mixed together with Chalice Dungeon and this. And we actually do want to take the game offline at this point, because this place is notorious for bell maidens, and it's just a constant ringing in the ear. And so I guess it was a popular PvP spot when Bloodborne dropped, so yeah. We just don't want none of that mess while we're trying to do this thing a little bit more, you know, neat and orderly. We'll see you in the next part. Thanks for watching.